So Sonic Superstars is on the horizon, and since it's taking a lot of inspiration from previous classic Sonic games, many people have questions like, will the game feel similar to those games? Will the story follow those games? And most importantly, will Hypersonic finally return? Hypersonic's only appearance in the Sonic franchise has been in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You see, in that game, you collected 7 Chaos Emeralds twice, except for the second time, they upgraded to the Super Emeralds. And once you collected all 7 Super Emeralds, you turned into Hypersonic, and literally nothing could break you. Now, Supersonic was also in the game, and of course, you only needed to collect 7 emeralds to unlock him, but he wasn't nearly as powerful as Hypersonic. Hypersonic was a cool concept because that form was more powerful than Supersonic, and it also rewarded the player for going the extra mile of collecting the Chaos Emeralds again. But unfortunately, this is basically the only time we've ever seen Hypersonic, but why is that? So, while we don't have an actual confirmed reason for why Hypersonic is no longer with us, there are a few possibilities. Number 1, Sega doesn't like him because they're Sega. Or number 2, there were many special circumstances as to why he existed in the first place. Since Sonic 3 and Knuckles was split into 2 games, they wanted to give the player a reward for having both games, and apparently a playable Knuckles in Sonic 3 wasn't enough. So they added a secret hyper form that was only possible to unlock if you owned both games. Now let's look at the other option. It is possible that Hypersonic was just too much, causing Sega to just ditch the concept entirely, which makes sense. He was very overpowered, which made the game pretty broken, and his design wasn't really pleasing to the eyes, but here's the thing. Both of those things could easily be fixed with several tweaks. So that brings me to my next question. Will Hypersonic finally return in Sonic Superstars? Now, so far, we've only seen one trailer and a few demo showcases, but thankfully, there is some evidence we can gather from this footage. Let's look back at the trailer for a second. So in this trailer, we supposedly see 2 types of special stages. One of them is inspired by the trashy Sonic 1 special stages, while the other is a completely new idea. Now, what's probably going to end up happening is that the Sonic 1 based special stages acts as a bonus room where you can collect special goodies for your character, or rings, lives, whatever. This is very similar to Sonic 3 and Sonic Mania because those games also had 2 types of special stages. Well, Sonic 3 and Knuckles technically had 3 types, but you get the idea. But what if for one type of special stage you collect Chaos Emeralds, but for the other type you go back and collect the Super Emeralds? Again, this sounds crazy, I know. Like, why would they make 2 types of special stages for basically the same thing? And if this was the case, then would you only be able to access the Super Emerald special stages after the first special stages? Well, what if in Sonic Superstars you are only able to collect the Super Emeralds post-game, meaning that yes, you are able to access both special stages to get the Chaos Emeralds, but then later you can go back and do harder versions of those levels to gain the Super Emeralds. I think this would be a pretty cool idea because it gives the player incentive to go back and replay those levels even after beating the game. And if you go back and do all of that, get all the Super Emeralds, then you will unlock a secret final boss similar to Sonic 3 and Knuckles or Sonic Colors DS. I think relegating Hypersonic to a secret post-game unlockable would be great for longtime fans of the series and completionists alike. So the trailer for Sonic Superstars showed us multiple new power-ups that all come from the Chaos Emeralds, meaning that different colored emeralds probably give you different abilities. And of course, you most likely unlock Supersonic by getting all 7 of them. But what if the Super Emeralds gave you more powerful versions of those abilities? And what if collecting all 7 Super Emeralds would give you Hypersonic, of course? This would give the Super Emeralds more purpose, as they wouldn't just be something that's only useful to those who want to unlock Hypersonic, but rather something that gives you access to better power-ups. But this also brings up another possibility, and this one would not make Sonic fans happy in the slightest. What if Hypersonic was relegated to a single power-up from one Chaos Emerald, but it only gave you invincibility for a few seconds? Yeah, what if they literally rip off Mario by having a power-up that gives you invincibility while also making you Rainbow? Yeah, that wouldn't really sit well with Sonic fans, but I feel like it's a very likely possibility. If they didn't like how overpowered Hypersonic was before, then what if they make him underpowered, something in a lower tier than Supersonic even? It's kind of scary how much this point makes sense, and I really hope it's not true. But what if they don't add Hypersonic at all, but instead create a completely new form for the game? New super forms in Sonic games used to happen with pretty much every mainline release. However, it's been almost 15 years since Sonic and the Black Knight gave us our latest super form, Excalibur Sonic, of course. I actually really thought that Frontiers was going to bring that whole concept back due to the fact that Supersonic was already being used for the main bosses and that the whole cyber corruption thing was a pretty significant part of this game's story until, well, you know. If Sonic Superstars creates a whole new form for Sonic, then that would also allow this game to feel even more different from the previous classic Sonic games. While yes, I would love Hypersonic to be in the game, but I do think this option would actually be better. It would break the no new super form curse that the series has held for a while, and it would give the player something special for the final fight of the game, and that's all it has to be, really. They don't even have to make it playable in the regular levels. It could just be something exclusive to the final boss, like in the storybook games. But to wrap everything up, is Hypersonic a possibility for Sonic Superstars? And the answer is yes. Hypersonic or another form is definitely a possibility, but if it will actually happen is a question that will go unanswered until the game is in our hands, so we'll just have to wait and see. But that's going to end today's video, guys. Be sure to stay tuned for more Sonic Superstars and other Sonic and Nintendo related content on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.